Welcome back in a new session of KnowTalks as part of Abu Dhabi International Book Fair 2025. Today, we will discuss a very important subject related to our identity, our civilization, our future, which is the Arab scientists and their role in forming the human knowledge. And this session and the subject of this session goes with the celebration of an exceptional historical character to be the center of its events, which is the scientist, the medical expert, Avicenna, which is one of the most impacting and influencing scholars in the history. Our expert and guest today is a historian, and he is a thinker to create a future that is bright in knowledge. He's now working as the executive director of Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Knowledge Foundation, which is now considered as an institution of source to support and empower the youth in knowledge. He participated in leading major projects such as the Knowledge Summit, the Nobel Museum, the Arabi Initiative, the Knowledge Center Hub in Arabic, Dubai Reading Program, the House of Poetry, and so on and so forth. Also, the Knowledge International Index in collaboration, of course, this comes in collaboration with UNDOF. He was known to support Arabic language and to relive the moments of the golden era in the Arab world and to shed the light on the scholars, the Islamic and the Arab scholars who changed the world. I am honored to meet with you in this session that we hope to connect with the past, to look at our present, and to hope for a future. Today, I'm meeting with you, and we have talked before about the lasting imprint of the Arab scientists. And I was requested to do another session about the same subject, but continuing with the first session. And this subject is a beautiful and an amazing subject, but there are some hopes of the youth who are looking forward, and the sadness of the elderly people who heard about the Arab golden era, but they didn't see it because it ended centuries ago. And the question we ask ourselves all the time, will the Arab be able to come back to their heritage, to their glory? Can the Arab youth lead civilization in knowledge as their ancestors did? If it's an easy path, then walking in that path will be easy. But if it's not an easy path, but it needs some work for people to take that path. The way for the Arab youth is easy and accessible, because for centuries, the Arabs were the masters of knowledge and science. The international civilization cannot deny that they have taken so much from the Arabs, unless someone who is, let's say, ignorant or a hater. We cannot change the mentality of a hater. And we only want to tell him that knowledge or science stops in the end hatred. It helps share the knowledge and the great characters of civilizations because all civilizations collaborated to build this civilization thousands and thousands of years ago until today. And a community cannot deny the good things and the participations of other communities, whether it's the Arabs, the Indians, the Chinese, the Americans. All of them participated in building the human civilization, and part of them was the Arab Muslims. Today is a continuation to what I have started in the previous session, and we will start with the university's map. There is a university, a map that's very important. I would like to put it, you can see it now. It leads to the foundation of universities and their histories. We see 737 AD, the Al Zaytun University. 859 AD, Al Qarawiyyin University, founded by Fatima Al Fihriya in Morocco. Al Azhar, 922 AD, in Egypt. These three universities started all the universities around the world. You see these universities in Europe starting from 1100, 1096, 1280. That means that the Arabs preceded the world in establishing universities 300 years ago. And this is an evidence of the correct approach that the Arabs has followed. And that's what I would like to talk about. They're not just a history. They are a fact lasting till the day of judgment. These are the people who established history that we can see today. We will follow their steps, and we will know in this session how they achieved what they achieved. Let me read something. Now we are trying to find a history that we have forgotten for a long time. This history is an engraving on a stone or a name in the hearts of the books, but we say it, and we are very confident about that. They are not just history. These Arab scientists are the minds that enlightened the sky of the human civilization. Not as people say, they are a history that is gone. And I've heard that with my ears. These inventors, scholars are just stories and histories. No, I say that they are a living story. They are a living soul that can go in the veins of our ummah, and that leads to bring this ummah to life. And as sun rises after the darkness, we are the people who are taking the lead after these scholars. We should bring to life the civilization that we have started on our way, and to start from Bayt al-Hikmah in Baghdad. This Bayt al-Hikmah, or the House of Wisdom, this is to be mentioned in everywhere around the world. This library that gathered the scientists, the scribes, transcribers, and so many scriptures were collected in this library. This is a picture from the book of Al-Hariri, but it describes the reality of the House of Wisdom library, showing the scientists and the books and how it used to be. On the rivers, on the shores of Tigris, Al-Mamun, the son of Harun Rashid, stood there looking at his state. He did not see towers. He did not see high rises. He looked and he saw minds that are seeking knowledge. That's why he started to build schools to collect all of the scriptures from India, from China, and he assigned to the scholars to translate everything to the Arabic language. The piece of information that he's collecting from everywhere until knowledge has become common, and the Muslims at that time gained the key of knowledge. They have looked at the Chinese and the Greek and other types of knowledge. They made it speak in Arabic. We were told that resonance starts with names like Galileo and Descartes. But what about those people who became before them, who preceded them, like Al-Razi, Avicenna, Ibn al-Haytham, and al-Idrisi? Today, I am sure that we should get things back to their place. Jane Darba said that clearly, and this is an article that I have read a few days ago. He's feeling sad for the historians not giving the Arab scholars their due respect. We should be sad and sorry for the approach that the European literature continued to hide the impact and the influence of the Arab scientists and the Arab civilization. Because these scholars wrote the names in the sky. You can at least read the names of the stars, and they are in the Arabic language. These are the words that we should not only remember, but this is as a testimony in the court of civilization. The darkness in Europe looked at Andalusia and Baghdad to look at their knowledge, their science. So if Europe asks for the due respect, then we should mention those who enlightened the first lanterns of science. The Arabs and the Muslims were at that time, there were stars in a dark sky. I was watching a map in a website called Map. And in this map, during the medieval times in the Arab world, you saw the light, and the darkness was in the European territories. And there was mention, they used to talk, the Europeans were talking about only beliefs, not about science. But here in the Arab world, they are talking about knowledge, science, not about beliefs. But now everything has changed. But hopefully, inshallah, God willing, there will be a strong comeback from the youth. This map is very well known, that shows the Renaissance in the Arab world and the darkness and the medieval times of Europe. In a time where the ignorance in Europe was Baghdad, Cordoba, were spreading the light like a sun in the 10th century AD. The streets were built correctly with stones that laid on the ground, while in Europe, it was just mud. In Netflix, there are some series about London, historical London, and they're showing this reality that I'm talking about. Some voices doubting might arise and will ask, was that actual reality or is just an exaggeration? We will say it is a reality. We should remind people of Abbas ibn Firnas in Cordoba, which created the lenses and the measurement tools and he dreamt of flying, and he flew. He was successful. He was successful, contrary to the well-known stories about him. Before Da Vinci trying that centuries ago, we should remember the libraries that contained hundreds of thousands of books and scriptures, while in France, in the biggest library, you would only find hundreds of books. Don't you ask yourself this question? Answer this question. If you go to look and try to search for scriptures, you will only find the Arabic books and scriptures that are left. But all of that coming from the Arab sources. Ibn Rushd was in Cordoba. He was explaining the Aristotle philosophy, explaining to people his commentaries. We looked and we saw the harmony between belief and science. The Holy Quran has encouraged knowledge, encouraged looking at things and criticizing and thinking. In the Golden Ages, the belief and science were in harmony, and the scientists were encouraged by the Quran to look and to study and to wonder. Well, Durham admitted that, and he said that the Holy Quran gave the Arabs a great encouragement to continue in a unique way in the history. It took them from their superstitions and it implemented justice and goodness in them and opened new ways in them. And it's enough for us to know that the Quran started with the word read. This is a European historian saying that. What can we say? The children of those great people, looking at Al-Khwarizmi and creating algebra to be called the father of algebra. Also, the first hospital in the hands of Al-Razi and Avicenna. This Holy Quran is being recited every day to wonder, to think. It is encouraging us all the time, and it encouraged the previous scientists to criticize, to think, to search, to explore. That's why they were the leaders of science around the world. Also, George Sartre, the Belgian scientist, he said a very famous word, that science is the greatest thing that the Arab civilization has given to us. Also, the scientific method was born under their hands. And if someone saying that medieval times were barren, he should look again and think about the names of the scholars between 750 and 1050 AD. Sartre did not speak that in vain. He created the list of gold. Jamal bin Huwaireb, Al-Kinda, Al-Khwarizmi, Al-Farabi, Ibn al-Haytham, Avicenna, and other scholars. These names are like stars. Were in one civilization. These civilization that taught humanity the scientific revolution before Galileo understand alphabet. These scientists created sciences, not just transformed it. To translate science is one thing, and to develop it and to build upon it is something else. So the Arab scientists, they built, they translated, they developed, and they came with new knowledge. This is the difference between someone who would like to build a civilization and someone to just copy and paste from other civilization without doing anything. They have created the scientific method, but in Greece, they only looked at philosophy. The Arabs started with the practical implementation. And Robert Triffeld said, what we call science that has been created in Europe was as a result of a new spirit of explanation and search and research and implementation. All of them came from the Arabs. And more than that, he stressed that without the Arabs, we wouldn't have reached the Resonance era. We wouldn't have developed. It's well known that they have created the first chemical and chemistry labs, and they have started the modern science principles before Baker and others. Also, another scientist we should also remember by Gustave Le Bon, the civilization of the Arabs. Gustave Le Bon talked about the Arab civilization, and the translator who translated in a beautiful language. He is a philosopher, a French philosopher, and in his book, The Civilization, the Arab Civilization, he said, we should not forget that the Arabs, and only the Arabs, are the people who led us to the ancient heritage of the previous civilizations. When the Paris and the European universities counted on the books of the Arabs, and they have got the inspiration of their scientific methods. The Arab civilization was one of the best and one of the most fantastic that you have seen in the world. And compare that with the words of the people who are ignorant or who are haters, and you will see the difference between the people who are seeking the truth and those who are just haters. These testimonies are an evidence that the source of knowledge in the West, it was started in the East. How is it now just to be said that we are only just a history now? No, we can bring it back to life. So many civilizations were brought back to life. Look at China, to Korea, to India, to Japan. They were brought back to life when they looked at their heritage, at their history. Europe, during the Renaissance, they raised and they grew and they developed when they looked at their history and they connected with that. As the Arabs, what is missing? We have all the history that we need. We have all the scriptures, the books to connect us with our history. We just need honesty, and we need to be very keen about that. Ibn al-Haytham is the one who created the principles of optics. His principles and laws are still taught until today. His name is being mentioned until today in the university around the world. Al-Khwarizmi is the one who taught the world the language of numbers, which we count on all the time in the era of computers. We remember Avicenna. We don't forget that he was the first source and the only source of medicine for centuries. We should remember that our history is not a closed history. It is a continuation. It is a present thing that we have to open doors for. The new the scholars did not become scholars, and these inventions did not come in vain. It was not as a sudden thing. It was as a result of a scientific and Islamic soul. People understood that Islam is the religion of intellect, of reason, not the superstitions. Our grandfathers, our ancestors have taught us that belief and science in Islam can be two wings for a bird to go in the sky of civilization. They have understood Islam correctly. Their creed was encouraging them to learn more, to research more. That's why Ibn Nafis did not worry to correct the Galileo's problems in the blood circulation. Also, Al-Kindi also did not hesitate to talk about the relativity of time. Al-Farabi or Al-Idrisi, the confidence of the freedom of thinking was the torch and the oil for creativity. We need to bring back this scientific, intellectual, free mind. People might say times has changed. What was possible before, it's not today. But I say, in contrary, what we have proved that the growth and bringing back the resonance is possible. And one of the conditions for that is the freedom of thinking, encouraging research, respecting scholars, and trying to be tolerant as it was used to be before. When the caliphs allowed for the knowledge to be translated from India, from China, from Greece, they were not closed-minded, they were open-minded, and they respected these scholars and they gave them places. So there's no race without respecting knowledge and intellect. Today, when we look at our reality, we look at beautiful minds, torching minds, looking forward to learn. So what's stopping us for another growth? In the knowledge center, the digital knowledge center, there is more than 26 million visits in 2024, and most of it was for science. This is an evidence that there is a care from the Arab youth to study science. The Arabs today, as yesterday, are smarts by nature. Do we lack resources? No. In this world, in this Ummah, in the UAE, in GCC, in the Arab world, there are so many resources if we manage it well. What we need only is to bring back the spirits of our ancestors, to believe that we can break the chains of frustration, to look at Avicenna and Razi as role models, not just dead names, to tell ourselves, as our ancestors did, and we are their children, we do not have and hope to stop, because they have raised in the skies and they were able to ask encouragingly. They searched in chemistry and mathematics, in medicine, and they opened all doors closed by other preceding nations. In this place, I remember Arnold Toynbee, the British historian, who believed that civilizations are born with the spirit of competition. And he saw in Islam a real example. And in Toynbee asked himself, will the Arabs be able to bring back their unity, and their civilization and their spirit to give a new message for the Arabs. Maybe between lines, he was saying that humanity cannot let go of the social cement that is brought by Islam. It brings it by brotherhood and equality. This is a challenge for us as Arabs. Will we answer as our ancestors did? These historians, the Western historians, Kuel, Sartre, Gustave Le Bon, Wimpy, and others, they gave due respect to our civilization, and they described it as the torch and the spark that started the fire of knowledge and science in Europe. We are the ones now who has to admit this knowledge and to have to understand it. Isn't it embarrassing that our children or grandchildren will be impressed by a Western story while we have between our hands the secret to the first resonance? It's not just a mathematical equation. It's not an engineering technology, but it's the open-minded intellectual person who is willing to discuss without any limitations. So do not say that the time of miracles has gone, because our first growth, it was not a miracle. It was a result of continuous efforts and works and a joint cultures and civilizations, and it might be brought back if we look at the reasons and to commit to that. I think it's almost time, but I will end with somebody that the Arab scientists, they were a living model for resilience, and they are the example that we are a nation that's able to create and innovate when freedom is there and the leadership is there. This resonance can be continued without a magical potion. We can bring back life to it and intellectual spirit to it. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, His Highness the Vice President, Prime Minister, the ruler of Dubai, may Allah protect him. And he is the one who is trying to spread the spirit of continuing the civilization. The Arab minds that were behind so many scientific achievements during the past centuries are able to take back their role in the future, near future, and they will come back to participate in the civilization and the development. The Arab civilization was the source for other civilizations, and the time is available for us to bring back our traditions, culture, and civilization. Today in our Arab region, there are so many scientists, so many smart and intellectual people and researchers. And thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency Jamal bin Huwaireb. Everybody is enjoying this session, and we don't want it to end. But I'm not talking about myself and the people around me, but I see that through the comments on Zoom and direct and live feed. And everybody like the positivity and the hope that you have talked about. And there is also another request for more sessions. And one of the attendees, he requested a certain specific request, and I will show it to you later. We have so many questions, but due to time limitations, you can just choose one question. You mentioned the House of Wisdom library role in Baghdad. If we want to be inspired by this experience, how can we create new establishments resembling that? In the UAE, we are doing that. The MBRF is doing a great role, not just in the UAE, but in an extended area. We can say it influences internationally. There are other establishments as well are doing great role, but my recommendation is to build a house of wisdom in each and every Arab youth. Before we build a place, we should build wisdom in our youth. They should not be satisfied with the knowledge from schools and universities. They should be asking and demanding and attending labs. The internet is opened the doors for all of the research labs. What you have learned in school should not be enough for you. You should be innovating. Even like the mechanic can be an inventor. A fisherman can be an inventor. A farmer also can be an inventor. Invention is a result of so many ideas that has been implemented in a correct way on scientific basis. The most important thing is you shouldn't stop. As we said, a farmer can be an inventor and can help the world. When Egypt helped the world in growing cotton, they have learned from that. Also, other sciences and the IT and labs, I need from the Arab youth that you shouldn't stop. I want you to build a house of wisdom in your hearts before you build it in your countries. One more question about the role of the educational establishments. From the early age till schools to universities and vocational training, what is the role of these establishments to bring back the life of the Arab Renaissance era? It is the spreading the hope. If these establishments are growing the love for critical thinking and the love for research in the minds of people, you would have seen so much changes around the world. Also the research centers, when they teach the children to love reading and to look for new things and to create at the level of children, then the youth, then after that, who is doing creativity all the time, he might be able to create new things, even if it's a small thing. Creativity and inventions shouldn't be like major things, and we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to make things better every day. I have also a slogan that I always say: if someone does not do small things perfectly, he will not do the bigger things in a good way. So if you want to continue with science, you should start with the small things. Ahmed Zuhail did not become the scientist Ahmed Zuhail in a moment. It took him years, since he was a young boy until he received the Nobel Prize, until the end of his life. Each Arab youth, if they want to grow bigger, they should put these people, these scholars, as their role models. We should not always try to find excuses not to grow. Apple, as one of the biggest, or maybe the biggest technological companies, which is bigger, 4 times bigger than Nevada and Nevada is bigger than all of the real estate companies in the world, in America. And this is a very important piece of information. Apple started in a garage, in a house of Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, inside a garage, which is now one of the biggest companies in the world. I think he's saying that Nevada, maybe it's NVIDIA. And it started as a small idea in the house. This is what Wozniak told me. So the house of wisdom should be in our hearts. All the Arabs can start as Steve Jobs, who's an Arab as well. You should remember, from Syria. He took a Western name, but we don't look at it from an Arab or a non-Arab, but we look at the idea how it started. And it only from the 70s. It started from 70s. It's not like a long time. The petroleum companies and the power companies are number 9. The first one is from the value and from income are technological companies, and the biggest one is Apple. We look at this company that has started from a garage. You, as the youth, you can start, you can create, you can invent. Do not stop. Do not get pessimistic. Do not get sad. I told you that the farmer can be an inventor. The fisherman can be an inventor. Everybody can be an inventor in his field if they want that. But if they stop, if they want to sleep, if they did not manage small things, some of them would say, the one who cannot clean his house properly will never be an inventor. So the start of success is from your clean room. It's simple. Start, continue, do not stop, and you will become better than Zuhail. You will become better than Avicenna. You will become better than many scientists if you put the house of wisdom in your heart. That's very inspiring. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And one of the things, or some of the things that we are key take-ins from this session, that the Arab scientists are not just a history. The title of the session, that the Arab scientists are not history. Yes, because their knowledge is still ever living, and their impact and influence is still until all today. Without them, without their inventions, we wouldn't have seen computers, we wouldn't have seen so many of the tools and devices and technology that we can see today. As the Arabs has taken from other civilizations and continued, and other civilizations took from others to continue with humanity, we can do that. We can build a bright future, and the future of the Arabs is coming. There's no doubt. We will take the lead, and we will continue. We will not clash with nations. We will be integrating with them. We will be complementing their work. With these inspiring words and these recommendations, we would like to end this session from the Knowledge KnowTalks, and also would like to invite you to follow the events of the establishment, hoping to meet you again in our next sessions in Saturday and Sunday. Thank you.